Why, hello there. Welcome to WRTV, Wittenberg Radio TV. So great to metaphorically see all of your faces.
Well, more than metaphorically, eh?
We hope so.
This has become real.
Yes.
It's true, yeah.
It does feel real. And the face that is joining us today is John Weier. John is one of the lovely counselors here at CMU. And we're going to be talking about, mental health, counseling. It was just Bell Let's Talk Day yesterday, and we kind of want to keep that conversation going past only one day. So hence this conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Should be fun.
Love it. All right. So John, we have a few questions for you regarding counseling here on campus, but we kind of want to get to know you first. So why did you decide to come and counsel here at CMU?
Well, I'm 70 years old, so it's obviously a long story. But I don't know if you know, but I made my living for 45 years as a writer and a luthier, half-time each.
What was the second role? What is that?
Luthier, violin maker, restorer.
Oh, wow.
Nevertheless, when I hit my 50s, I found myself very, very unhappy. And so I put up with that for 5 or 6 years and then decided that I really shouldn't put up with it anymore. So I decided I would do something about it. So I went back to school to train as a family therapist. Why did I choose family therapist? It's not that I wanted another job, but I'd always been interested in talk therapy. I've always been interested in sort of what happens inside people, right? Like that. And so I went back to school just because it sounded exciting and it sounded like maybe it would wake me up right? So I never did really think about doing that for a living or even as a job. But then that sort of, I went back to school part-time. I really enjoyed it. I did a couple of internships and still enjoyed it. And then when it came to going back to, only my other work, only my other jobs, I realized that I'd sort of lost interest in both of them. And by this time I was 65 and I had at least some kind of a pension. And so I just, I spent sort of a year thinking what I was going to do. And then I heard that CMU was interested in having, was in the habit of inviting therapists or counselors to volunteer. And I thought that was the perfect thing for me. I was a student at CNBC in 1969.
That's awesome. That's a really cool connection. And I'm glad you ended up here at CMU.
Me too. Yeah. It was a good place for me then, and it's oddly still a good place for me. It feels the same, it feels the same as it did then.
Nice. So I guess a question that I have kind of more in terms to flesh out what counseling at CMU looks like is how do you go about kind of booking an appointment? Has any of that changed during the pandemic?
I don't think so. I think, good question. In non-pandemic days, there were notices up on bulletin boards with all the counselors' email addresses. And so any student could simply email us directly. Or they could go to the receptionist on North Campus and connect with us that way. Of course, I don't know, I imagine these papers are still up there, but who gets to see them?
Well, we are back in class. We're hybrid, so
some of us, yeah.
So people can see them, our addresses on bulletin boards, and of course, often somebody's talking to Charlie or Danielle or Sandra, and Sandra, Danielle, or Charlie say, "Hey, why don't you go see X?" Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes like that. Or they can also see Andrew Giesbrecht, who's the receptionist South Campus, and he will also book stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. And I also believe there is a way to get in contact online on the CMU website. So I will throw that picture up here somewhere in the video of how to get there.
Cool. I know there used to be. I just haven't looked for it lately.
I think that's actually how I got in contact with you for getting you on the show. So I know it works.
You know how it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So, who can make an appointment? Like, do you have to have a diagnosed mental illness, or who is counseling open to?
Counseling is open to any student. No, you don't need any kind of diagnosis. You just need to want to see a counselor. That's all.
I love it.
Whether you're struggling really, really, or whether just struggling a little bit. No restrictions. Well, no restrictions. Of course, we get a little busy, and so that becomes a problem sometimes.
Yeah.
There is also, there are these. There are 4 of us, 5 of us, who see, well, in normal times, see students on campus. But we also have, for international students, we also have an online service that has, like if you're from Eastern Europe, there'll be Eastern European counselors that you can talk to. You can talk to counselors in almost any language. So
that's very cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, me neither. So what are some of the reasons that people come to, I don't know if I can ask you specifically, but I guess seek counseling in general, in your experience from CMU?
What are some of the things that people come with?
Yeah.
Well, really ordinary things, like my girlfriend broke up with me, or my boyfriend broke up with me, right? And I'm having a really hard time. I better watch my language. Do you have a beeper somewhere? Maybe I should.
Honestly, in edits, I have had to beep out Dan before, so.
It's true. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if my language falls off the edge of the map, that's no problem.
Yeah.
You can beep. Okay. So my parents are treating me like, and what am I going to do about it? Did you beep already?
I will later. Don't worry. I got you.
Sorry, I had to do that now.
That's okay. I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, things aren't going well with my parents, or what else? I mean, some people just have sort of deeper perennial issues that are, maybe they've struggled all through high school with depression or semi-depression, and it's hanging around, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Struggling with school, struggling with
definitely.
being an A-type personality, like really normal stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest here. I have been to counseling, not here at CMU. I kind of entered my time at CMU already in connection with counselor that I quite love. And so just the freedom of going to someone and talking to them and knowing that that information isn't going to be shared anywhere else. I can talk about just general stress in my life, or I can look for coping skills and get help with that. Yeah, like counselors are there for so many reasons, and I'm so appreciative of counselors.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Of course, there's bigger stuff like gender related stuff or orientation related stuff. I mean, that's can be pretty heavy, right? Like that.
Yeah. One of my, I don't know if it's a fascination, but one of the so I've also seen a counselor a while back, but for me, it's fascinating to hear people not necessarily their reasons for going to see a counselor, but some of the fears around why, or fears about going to see a counselor, because I definitely had my own. But I wonder if you guys could share a little bit of how you think, or some of the fears you think people have of going to see a counselor, because I think that's a real thing. Maybe I'll share a bit from myself, is that I know that there's this, I mean, for males in the society, I feel like there's this huge stigma of, the British stiff upper lip, don't show emotion. And that's never been my style. So it's totally not, but it's sometimes perceived to be, and especially in some of the circles that I was in at the time, perceived to be an admission of weakness for a male, which is not a thing you can do in some places. So that was a little bit daunting when I was first going into it. And I wondered if you guys have any other experiences that are similar to that.
Well, I mean, I think, I do think it shows up for guys. That kind of thing shows up for guys a lot. And I think, I mean, it's reflected in the fact that I see way more young women than young men. And honestly, sometimes I know young men come in and they don't even know what to say. Like they can't even tell me the story, so it's a thing. But otherwise, I was seeing someone in fall, and when we did sort of a review 6 weeks in, and I asked about expectations and so on, and what did you expect? What did you get? Then she said that she had expected it to be really aggressive. That a counselor would come after you and push and poke and really like use very direct language and ask shocking questions and stuff like that, right? And so she had been afraid because she was under the impression that that's what counseling was, that's what therapy was. So I think too, I mean, if I think back when I was a student at CMU, CMBC, I think maybe if I had had a chance to go to counseling, and I think I would have been afraid of what buried stuff might show up, right? And whether I could handle that. I mean, I don't think that was very explicit or very conscious, but I think I had some of those fears. Yeah,
and that's definitely a fear I had too when I went through counseling, and sometimes when I still do it, but more at the beginning, was like, how vulnerable am I going to get? And it took me a while to get vulnerable and comfortable with my counselor, but that was a really important part in my healing. But also I've learned very quickly that on a day that I was going to get counseling, I needed to make room for myself after to just rest. And that's something that I often remind my friends. I've had friends go to CMU counseling, and afterwards I'm just like, hey, no plans. We're just going to chill out. Like, you can have your alone time and we're just going to be calm. Right. So that's, from my personal experience, resting after moments of vulnerability, I think, is very important.
Letting it settle.
Yeah.
Letting yourself settle.
Yeah.
John, what are some of the things that you would say to some people that are maybe a little bit apprehensive about seeking counseling?
I would say 3 things. I hope I can remember them. Well, the first one is that, at least in my training, we talked about a thing called, we talked about it in a fun way, but we called it a vulnerability hangover. And we sort of, like, the way we thought about it was, especially first session, as a therapist, be really careful, because if you allow, I'll say student, if I allow the student to be too vulnerable, that student may just not come back, right? It may just have been too much and too fast, and right. So for me, at least in my training and in my approach, there's sort of a, go slow, go safe, go easy. That's what I try to do. I've made some mistakes and gone too fast, I think. But I think there's sort of that need to be careful.
Yeah. That's good to hear too, for people going in the first time, that they don't have to like bare their soul and like tell you everything about their life the very first session.
Yeah, and in a way too, and maybe as a part of that, it's sort of like, this should really be student directed rather than me directed, right? So, so if a student isn't ready to talk, that's okay. We can just chit chat about the weather and about classes and about, maybe that lasts 2 sessions. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's 1.
Okay.
2, I don't know, this week at least, I think that one of the reasons we end up in counseling, or should end up in counseling, is because we're just not accepting enough of who we really are. Just, this is who I am, it's okay, and that we're maybe not tender enough with ourselves. So then maybe that's something for somebody to know, is that I believe that counseling is about being tender and about learning acceptance. And of course, where does acceptance begin? In the counseling room, but me accepting the student, so that was 2. I've forgotten what 3.
Those are 2 great answers. Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Maybe we only need 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll probably remember in a little while, but anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, John, I just wanted to say thank you. Daniel, do you have any other questions, or John, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, number 3.
Hey.
We haven't done 30 minutes yet, have we?
We're getting there.
We're rolling up there.
Oh, wow. Number 3, I think sort of, who do I really want to be in the counseling room? Like, I want to be your perfect friend. Like in a real friendship, it's not so easy to find a perfect friend, but maybe for an hour I can manage it,
Right.
So I want to be the really good listener. I want to be the really compassionate person. I want to be the person that accepts you completely and asks a good question every once in a while. So it's sort of, I don't want to be a preacher. I don't want to be your parent in a way. I want to be that, exactly what you need is exactly what I want to be, right? And so,
I
yeah.
hope so many people watch this episode just to hear that, because that is wonderful and phenomenal.
Yeah. I guess one of the things that maybe expanding what I said on a little bit earlier and off of what you're saying there, like one of the things for me that I have picked up on, I'm not sure if it's necessarily true because it's maybe based off a few assumptions, but I find that young men find it much more difficult to have a friendship in which they, or a relationship in general, where they share all their deepest, like, yeah, share all their deepest parts of themselves, as opposed to young women who I kind of have, I assume, have friendships that are more able to have a deep conversation about deep fears and feelings than lots of males feel like they can do. And that's, I'm pretty blessed in the fact that I have a number of good relationships where I can, talk about those things. But I'm absolutely sure it's not the same for lots of, even my friends, even lots of my people that I play soccer with. And I find it hard to understand why counseling isn't more of an accepted thing in that kind of a culture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
And also the fact that, like, I know it's free. Like, here at CMU, you have access to it, so why not?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
It feels a little like it's something we all should do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All our lives. And Dan, I think it does feel that way to me too, that women have a bit of an advantage in terms of having intimate friendships. I know, I have a really close friend and we've known each other since like 1978. How long is that? 22, 42, 40 some years, right?
We're not math majors.
Okay. Let's say 40. And though I call him my closest friend, we've really only become intimate friends in the last few years. Like where we can actually talk about our feelings to each other, right? Mm-hmm. Whoa, it's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, we have to do it with scotch, but still, we can do it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's a thing.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that I've heard is that sometimes counselors see counselors themselves, just to kind of have that. Is that something that you do?
I do. I have. I think I saw my first counselor when I was about 30. And yeah, I saw that counselor for 20, 25 years. Not every week, sometimes twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. And I didn't stop seeing her until I actually became a student, a marriage and family therapy student. But even now, there are places in counseling where I get tripped up or where my stuff gets triggered by whatever's happening for you, for the student. And so things can get a little tricky sometimes. So I keep somebody on speed dial just to check in.
And as a student, as someone seeking counseling, that also gives me a lot of peace of mind that you know where we're coming from, in a sense.
Yeah. That I also get triggered.
Yeah.
And that I've been seeing counselors all my life.
Yeah.
It kind of gives a framework of like, you're human. You're not somebody that is going to, that at least thinks that they have all your answers, right?
I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So like Freudian psychoanalysis, Freud has all the answers, right? It's an expert dummy model. Marriage and family therapy actually was a reaction to Freudian psychoanalysis, and the attitude is sort of no, you're the expert on yourself. I know a few things about how people operate, and I know a few things about dynamics and stuff like that, but you're really expert on what you need. Matter of fact, you probably already know what you need. And I'm here to ask you some questions, and maybe it'll make it easier to unearth the answer you already have, right? So yeah, marriage and family therapy tries to be a little more collaborative and less expert-based.
Awesome.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, John, this conversation has been incredible. This has been just a really great time getting to know you, getting to hear a bit more about counseling, and especially in a CMU context.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll maybe let you go finish up your what dish was it again?
Persian lamb stew.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible. He's not only a counselor, but he's also a master chef.
Yeah, right.
It's got to go tend to that stew. Yes, thank you, John. And thank you to everyone who's tuned into this conversation. We hope that you've learned something, you've maybe realized something, and if you feel like you're led to, that you'll seek counseling from one of the lovely counselors here at CMU.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. It's been fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. See you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, what a man.
That was incredible. That was great.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, I guess we move on to some weekly things, some daily weekly things.
Daily weekly things. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the email I received from the one and only Charlie Peranto. And that email outlined the new community groups for this semester. There are some incredible groups and activities that you can join, and I just want to talk about all of them forever.
Tell me about them, Chloe. Tell me about them. Tell me about them.
So if you check your email from Charlie Peranto, you got this really handy student email. You got this really handy digital sign-up sheet that lists a bunch of activities and gatherings that you can attend with your fellow students, faculty, and professors. Attendance is pretty relaxed, and you receive emails once you sign up. But here is the list of things you can sign up for. You can join a Studio Ghibli movie club with Charlie Peranto and Paul Dirksen.
Sounds like a great time.
Dan, have you ever seen a Studio Ghibli film?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
of
they're
course.
Beautiful.
So
and to
good.
hear like
So
the
good.
commentary by Charlie and Paul, I cannot imagine.
That would be, yeah. I agree.
Cannot
That's an incredible pairing too, Paul
It
and
is.
Charlie. That's yeah.
Next up, there's a walking group with Janet and Verna. You go for a nice hour-long walk at Tuesdays at 4.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Good
get
stuff.
some fresh air, get moving. We love it. And a place for conversation with John Bupelen and Abram Bergen. So this is a safe place to discuss topics such as current events, politics, theology, ethics, and more.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I haven't spoken much with Abram, but John, I'm in a class with him this semester, and yeah, just incredible, just discussing things with him. So I highly recommend that.
Yeah, and to have a safe space to talk about those things, I find like having a place to actually talk about it rather than just Google it and be like, especially now, what is the stock market?
I've done that. What do you?
I know, but like to have some like really wise people there to answer your questions, incredible.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
This is one that I quite enjoy. Knitting and More with Carolyn Epp Franson. Learn to knit or spend time together improving your fiber arts over conversation. Let's see if I can, hold on.
You're going to go get your knitting stuff? Well, maybe I'll keep you all occupied for the time being. Never mind, the knitting stuff is right there. Look at that.
I'm currently
She's
working
knitting
on
a scarf?
a scarf.
Wow.
It's some real fun colors. Look at this guy right here.
Those are your favorite colors.
I'm not sure about the orange. I quite like them though.
How about the green?
The green. Oh, for sure.
There we go.
So a place where I can
yeah.
crochet and chat. We love it. Next up, we have Let's Just Show Up today with Anna Nicola. You can come and talk, or you can come and just be. Conversations will be prompted by specific questions or flow from whatever is on the mind of the group members.
It's the kind of thing that I feel like we kind of miss out on in not in-person classes, is this wait around after class and have discussions. So I'm glad to hear that as well.
Yeah. Next, we have Walk and Talk with Jennifer Craker. You meet outside of Marpeck on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. for a nice little 30-minute jaunt. And it says jaunt, and I love the idea of a jaunt.
Is such a great, yeah.
it's different than a walk. It's like a little bit more peppy.
Movie.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Yeah.
There's also a run club, right?
Yes, yeah, that's at the end of the list. Run Club, that has been going on all year, but you can sign up at any time. Russ is always talking about is it Strava?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's an app that tracks your runs, and he likes to flaunt his good runs.
Yeah.
And okay, Dan, I think you want to talk about this one, Dan.
I kind of do. I've got the list here too. I was faking the entire time, but Rocket League with Paul Dick, incredible. What? Incredible. You ever wanted to play soccer with cars? Your chance to play. Rocket League's a video game where you're a little RC car that can fly, and you play soccer in a cage at 3v3. How could you not? And you're playing with a professor. You're playing with an English professor. And can you imagine the possibilities? Oh, this would be incredible.
Cannot. Dan, you love this game. I know you love this.
I do love this game. Yes. Yeah, it really stems from my love of soccer.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Soccer.
Yes. The only thing I know about this game, I've been exposed to it a little bit, is that you can customize your cars with different colors and sounds and decorations. So if you like that part of it, like I do.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. And I think that is it for your community groups. So
that's all so good.
Look at that email. I believe there's also something in the daily.
Check that email, click those links, make sure that you're up to date and know what's going on. Check out all these cool options. Don't have to, but it'd be super cool. Get involved in fostering community.
Fostering community.
Yeah.
It's still possible even during a pandemic.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I think it's time for quick wits, Chloe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready for mine?
I'm ready for yours. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, this morning, so this is still related to this whole wellness week. So this morning, me and Godi Katembo went for a run with Russell Wilms.
Did he log it on his app?
Yes, of course he did. Yeah. But I had kind of forgotten, this goes hand in hand with the hybrid going back into person classes. I had forgotten how great it feels to not just exist in my room and sometimes go outside my room and do things, but to go to school, go for runs on the river, incredible. With people, it was a great experience, and it was really, it was great. It was a really, really great time. And I think physical activity, while not necessary, is so vital, at least for me, for my own mental well-being. And that's, especially when you're doing it with somebody, that was definitely something that I've been missing these past couple months.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like the hybrid classes and the return to hybrid classes, I didn't realize how much I missed. Okay, this sounds weird. I didn't realize how much I missed being poked fun at and bantering with people again.
I know exactly what you mean.
Banter. You cannot really banter on Zoom. I mean, we're doing it right now, but
because there's two of us.
But in a whole class, being able to banter, I got roasted in one of my classes for I don't know what reason, but it was all in good fun, and it was a riot to laugh with people again.
We were fostering community. Community around roasting Chloe.
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my quick wit. And it's a bit of a hot take. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I had this conversation yesterday and my stories went on forever about it. Yes. So my quick wit and my kind of hot take is I don't know where I stand on Bell Let's Talk. And I think that's okay. And I've realized a lot of other people also don't know where they stand, and that's okay. There's a lot of questions with the idea of large corporations talking about mental illness and mental health for one day, donating a bit of money, and then being held on a pedestal as a hero and for doing such amazing work. I think that there's a lot of possibility within smaller grassroots campaigns, and yeah, there's a few things I'm uncomfortable with the idea of, yeah, I don't know if you can add to this. My story held a lot of these questions, but yeah.
one of the things that I don't think your story necessarily had was that I not personally, but I saw somebody else on my Instagram feed got that Michael Bublé doing cool things video, got it as a sponsored ad post on their Instagram feed, and that
I
made
did
me go,
too.
that was like,
oh, does that mean they're paying for it?
that means they're paying for it, so they're technically supposed, like, how does that make that? That's nuts to me. That is absolutely against the spirit of what it should be, right? Because they're promoting Bell through that.
Yeah.
They're not promoting let's talk about mental illness. That's not what that's about. They're promoting the brand. And also, all with these hats, I feel so mixed about wearing these hats.
Yeah.
Because it kind of means a good thing, and if I continue to wear it as like, if I'm going to continue to wear it, it's like mental health. Let's keep talking about mental health.
Exactly.
For the weeks to come. But then it's also, you see this and it's Bell. You know it's Bell. I don't know. I don't like corporations in general, but
it's conflicting.
This time of year, it just seems
it's very conflicting. And then on the other hand, I got a message from someone saying that a really important program in my hometown was given a huge grant from the Bell Let's Talk program. And I was like, oh, that adds a whole nother layer, because a lot of people got some really important education there. So my quick wit is I am confused.
Nice. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe you can go and talk to John Weier about that.
Oh, I could. Good connection, Dan. Good connection.
Yeah, no problem. Got you.
All right. I think that just about sums it up for this week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed, click that subscribe button, click that like button, share it to your friends.
Hit the
get this
bell. There's something about
CMU.
a bell now.
Yeah, something about a bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Hopefully, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be in person, me and Chloe, next time you see this. Hopefully this is one of the last times you'll see us on a Zoom interface, kind of, talking.
You won't have to see my entire apartment.
I mean, your apartment's great. I think my background's pretty great too. I just got a bit of weird clothes going on there.
We're pretty good interior decorators, yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.